Hello ladies and gentlemen, I'm just kicking off here today by reminding you that there was a guest flow episode on Wednesday. This is in particular very important for today's episode, so if you haven't seen that one, please click that little icon on the top right now to go there and check this video out, because it will basically put down the foundation for today's episode. But now, sit back, relax, and just enjoy today's episode. Boom. So here we go. For those of you who don't know what's going on in the background, because you haven't seen the Wednesday episode, as I said in the intro, this is a stuff building which is outside the actual park. If you really want to know how this works, and if this works, and why, and whatever, make sure to watch Wednesday's episode of Isla Napali, the guest flow. I'm so sorry, by the way, again, for the weird bug that YouTube had on Wednesday. I feel like at the moment every social media is going to break or whatever. Currently, Instagram is down. Today afternoon, Twitter was down for a few hours. I don't know. And, last week Facebook was down and WhatsApp was down and whatever. It's all down. And, the thing is, they all at some point have some issues here and there, and some weird problems for a majority of a minority, if I want to say it that way. So yeah, basically it's not that people would notice anyways, but these last couple of days, I don't know why, but there is like a huge amount of problems occurring across all social medias, and so did YouTube on Wednesday with my episode. So it was for whatever reason only in 360p, which is it's really not nice to watch. I totally get that you guys won't watch it. It's super awful. I mean, hell, even I was super mad, and then I even re-uploaded the video and it just didn't work out because YouTube just didn't put the videos through in full HD. And I can promise you, my file was 100% full HD. I was super nice. It was super tasty to watch. Actually, it wasn't, but it's just, it's Planko on actually high settings. I believe I'm still running on high settings. I know that today's episode was made on medium settings because I forgot to change it again after guest flow. Usually I have guest flow in medium settings. And let me just quickly get back to one comment. Oh god, I forgot who that was. Someone came up in a comment with the trick to put the game back to full screen from borderless, because I usually run the game in borderless because I'm constantly going into my various image folders to check some inspiration and stuff, and also I've got my web browser open. Actually, I don't because I don't know. Chrome is taking so much CPU usage that I avoid as much as I can to have Chrome open because it just sucks. And yeah, but for some episodes I can't avoid having it open because it just gives me so much help. Anyways, that's not what I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about the fact that I can't really use anything else than borderless. However, I tried it to see if there is a certain boost in performance because you guys were actually suggesting that this helps, and unfortunately I don't really see any improvement, but also there's also no problem with it, so it's not getting worse or anything, but it's just, why should I take something that's limiting me more than it does give me freedom if I don't get any better performance out of it. Weirdly enough, I know that windowed mode is giving me a way better performance. For whatever reason, I don't know, my human brain, my kind of logic doesn't understand this, because I feel like the computer has to display more than only the game, right? I mean, even on borderless, yeah, kind of gives you the openness, but still on the one screen, it's only the game. So that's kind of, focus on processing that. But if you have windowed mode, I mean, there's even much more going on. So why is that even improving the overall performance? I don't know. I just don't know. Well, it's not that important. Anyways, today, the episode is really cool. I mean, I really hope that you guys can follow me through this episode with the recording, with the voiceover, because I'm super excited to talk about what I'm doing here. Because this is... I try to be pretty precise here. This is one of these episodes I love because it's 100% created out of your suggestions. It's not my idea at all. It is, some kind of a result of a brainstorming that has been taking part of the course of the last, let's say, 10-ish episodes. I always stated that I wanted to have this staff area down here at the beach, at the other harbor, which is effectively the cargo harbor, if you will. And I was always talking about huts or like, you know, living areas for the people working on the island. But you guys came up with the argumentation, which I do follow. Yeah, to a certain extent. Actually, I do follow it entirely, to be honest. That not everyone is living on that island. Well, actually, basically no one really lives on that island any longer, because these areas that have been used by the people living on that island are definitely turned into a theme park now, and it would be super unrealistic to have like, I don't know, 20-40 people living on that island in general. In total, it's not feasible in that kind of sense, that it will be way too less. And since I stated in the very first episode that the a boats tour would only take like an hour to this island, it's actually super obvious that they would take boats back to the mainland or the main island of Hawaii, for example, in the evening. So yeah, that makes total sense. And this might only be a motel, hotel / thingy that can offer some rooms for the people that need to stay here for a double shift. So in terms of rooms, it doesn't really have that much of a capacity. Maybe like, I don't know, 40, 50, 60 people. Maybe you have to enlarge this whole thing towards the back of the building again to make sure that there are more rooms available, to make sure that we can have a certain capacity in here. But I'm also thinking that, for example, in the medical center, in the hotel, in the actually entrance building, and in some of the cargo hall buildings, that there's also some capacity for people to sleep in and spend their double shift times or whatever. So I really feel like that this is by far the best solution to integrate living options for our staff members. And staff members is kind of the good keyword here, because keywords are always helping me to guide you through an episode. There's always a lot to say, but sometimes it's not that much of a valuable stuff to talk about. Today there is a lot of valuable stuff to talk about. Not that I wouldn't be able to fill stuff into the episodes that is totally nonsense and just ridiculous and just whatever. I'm good at that. I'm proud of this, but I'm good at that. But now back to the topic. It's really that It's really that the God, I lost my mind here. No, I was talking about the stuff in general. Like, we were talking about how many people would actually live on that island. And since I only put that out in the last episode, and I know that not everyone is watching guest flow episode, maybe I'll put this out again in here, the question. So what do you think, how many people would actually work on that island, realistically spoken? I mean not like in Planko staff member demand kind of regions. I really talk about a realistic amount of people that would actually work on this island within a normal day. I mean, we counted basically using the builds and the different rides and different facilities, and try to think of how many staff members we would need there. But maybe you guys can kind of help me out on that. So I for example have no idea what a normal roller coaster, how many people are working on one roller coaster a day in a park. I have absolutely no freaking idea. It's just I kind of have an idea if I just try to build that, or kind of think how many should be in there, like kind of counting one and one together. But I'm totally sure that this might not be as accurate as it could be. So if you guys could help me out on that, this would be super awesome, because I really want to make sure that at the end we have also a very realistic amount of staff members roaming around in the park. It's super important. Anyways, let's not talk too much about the staff members only. I mean, this is definitely a building that they will be using only, so this is not for the guests. It's not meant for the guests, and I'm trying my best also to hide it away from the guests, because they don't need to see this at all. It's somewhat of also not only a building, but also some of a spot where the staff members can recover a little bit, not only in terms of sleeping and it's also a spot where they can recover in terms of being a little bit on their own, and not not in the middle of the theme park. It's just a little bit outside. I'm also thinking of adding something in the backstage area of this building, like a little pool or some, not a pool in terms of a nice swimming pool from the hotel, but maybe just like this kind of pop-up pool, if that's even a thing. I don't know, but I could imagine that this is a thing just to cool down a little bit, or we give them access to a little beach area, whatever. Is that a thing? I mean, it would be a cool thing anyways. I mean, I do care for my staff, so why not do it? But yeah, you can see that I downloaded a bunch of new toolkit items, which I have to say they're super awesome. I looked for a lot of those little tables and chairs because I wanted to use as many different ones from the toolkit as possible to make it look a little bit cluttered and a little bit kind of piece by piece in terms of, yeah, I don't know, all the stuff that is left on this island. So for example, they used some old chairs from one park restaurant, they used some older chairs from the cargo area in general, and some other older stuff to just bring it all together, because this is certainly not a high-class hotel whatever thing. This is a motel for the workers in the park, which is not as shabby as some of the other ones you would find next to a highway or so, but it's really a lot closer to kind of the shabby highway motels than to a 5-star hotel that would be for the guests in the park. It's I don't know, it's how it is, right? The staff members never get the same luxury that guests would get. It's in the nature of us being, I don't know, not really equaling it out as much as we could, but anyways, it shouldn't be affecting us too much. Yeah, I wanted to make this kind of a neon looking sign here to the build, just to make sure that this is somewhat telling you what that is. So maybe if guests can see it, at least it gives them an idea, but I don't know, it's just that I don't believe there would ever be a motel without a motel sign in that kind of way. It just doesn't exist in my imagination, and so I don't want to have it without a sign. And yeah, that's purely the reason why I did so. But yeah, in general, I'm fairly happy with the build, I have to admit. It's simple. It's not containing too many pieces, actually. It's so I would call it somewhat less piece heavy than I usually do buildings, so it's really cool. It's lacking a little bit of detail, which I'll do in the next episodes. I definitely totally skipped lighting at this point. We will do this in the future as well, as promised. I also skipped a little bit of backstage accessibility we still need to focus on. So yeah, quite a few things I'm not quite done with, but I think for the overall idea how this should turn out, and how the overall building is laid out, I think it's giving us a good idea. So now it's your turn, guys. How do you like the building? Did you enjoy also the guest flow? Because I did enjoy this, certainly, on Wednesday, because, well, if it would be in a better quality, and by the way, now it is full HD for those who want to rewatch it in nice quality, by the way. But yeah, I was certainly happy with it. I'm certainly with today's episode. And yeah, let me know what you think of the build, and do you think there's anything else we can give our staff members in terms of having a better time on our island? Anyways, that's it for today's episode. As always, make sure to give it a like if you liked, and subscribe if you want to come back and watch my stuff. Until then, have a great time, and bye, guys.